Just a minute. Okay. Thank you so much for being a part of this session today. So I hope your Ekadashi is going well for those of you who are fasting, and just a few hours to go for you to break the fast. So it's I thought that would be a good time to connect with all of you and see if you have any questions. So uh, so if you have any questions, you can please type it on the chat window, and we can look at them one by one. And if there are any practice related questions, don't ask on this particular chat here, because not everybody has done the same practices. So if you have any general questions, whether it's about, yoga or yogic lifestyle or food or anything related to that, you can ask about those queries here, and we can look at them one by one. Okay. Okay. So there's a question here that how do we wake up early? Okay. So how do we wake up early? So there are many factors which are involved in this. First of all, you will need to sleep early to wake up early. Okay. So you will need to see that you can at least go to bed by 9:30, 10 if you wish to get up by around 4 o'clock or sometime, around that time. So if you wish to get up at Brahma Muhurtam and make use of that period, which is a very opportune time for spiritual practices, then you should be going to bed by around 9:30, so that so that your body is sufficiently rested. So if you go to bed at 12 o'clock and then expect to get up early, that won't happen. So just see how you can go to bed earlier. And also in terms of dinner, when you have your dinner, you need to have your dinner much earlier than you go to bed. At least 1.5 to 2 hours gap should be there. So let's say you finish your meal by 7:30, then that's ideal, because then you can go to bed by around 9:30. So that much gap, if it's there, you will see that it is best. Otherwise, most of the food gets wasted, and you may feel heaviness, and it may prevent you from getting up early. And also try to eat at least 50% raw food. So if you eat at least 50% raw food in your meals, you will see that it will assist you in getting up early, because food makes a big difference in terms of how much sleep you need. And also another factor which you can take care of is how you chew the food. If you chew the food, each morsel of food at least 24 times, then you will see there's no lethargy in the system. It feels like you may have eaten so much, but still there's no lethargy in the system, and you will see that you may get up much before the alarm bell rings. For those who are struggling to get up early, just try this for your dinner today. When you are having your dinner, don't be distracted and do many things. Just have your dinner and do nothing else. Don't speak, don't watch television or see your mobiles, or watch any documentaries on Netflix or whatever. Just see if you can eat food and pay attention to it, and chew each morsel of food at least 24 times, so that it becomes like a liquid. It becomes like a paste before you take it in. Then you will see that your sleep quota will go down drastically, and your alertness in the body will increase, and you will be easily able to get up early. So try these things and see if it works for you. Okay, let's look at the next question. How to increase weight? So whether you are underweight or overweight, you will see once you start doing the kriyas, especially like the Shambhavi and Shakti Chalana Kriya. If you have been practicing that, you will see it will help regulate your metabolism in such a way that whatever is needed for you, it will happen. For example, right now, if you need to put on weight, you will see that it can help regulate that, so that you can put on more weight. Or if you need to lose weight, then it will regulate the body accordingly. So with the practice of yogic kriyas, this can happen. It can definitely help you in fine tuning what is needed for your system. Apart from that, not just kriyas, even the hatha yoga practices, etc. If you do, it can be very helpful. If you want to put on weight, and you can also see if you can eat the right kinds of foods. For example, you have more groundnuts. You can even have ghee. Some take some warm ghee before your meals. That could be helpful. You can also have honey with cold water. That can also help put on weight. So these things also you can try it out. So eat sufficiently so that you, and also not only just eat sufficiently, but also if your metabolism is working fine, then you'll see it gets uh, it gets converted into healthy weight. So it's important you do these kriyas as well as take care of your food, so that if you are underweight, it can help you put on weight, and if you are overweight, it can help you regulate that. Because especially if you are overweight, you will see that just by doing the kriyas and hatha yoga, etc., it can definitely help you lose weight. Because one thing is also you have to maintain empty stomach condition while doing the practices. So you need to have sufficient gap that can cut down on your extra meals if you have been having that. And if you want to put on, if you want to lose weight, you can also have honey with lukewarm water. That works in the reverse way. It helps to cut down the fat and it helps to lose weight. So if you want to put on weight, you can add honey to cold water or normal water. And if you want to lose weight, you can add honey to lukewarm water. Don't add it in boiling water. It can turn poisonous. Just lukewarm water, if you add it and have it, about half a glass or so uh, in the morning on empty stomach, it can help. Okay, I do 12 cycles of Yoga Namaskar. Can I further increase the number of cycles? Can I stretch it up to 108 cycles? Yes, you can do that. Yoga Namaskar, you can go on increasing it, but try to do it in a way that your body gets used to it gradually. Don't attempt it in one day, because you may be able to cross certain limitations on a certain day, but then you won't be able to consistently do it. So just try to start with 12 if you wish to right now, and then go on increasing it. So there's a certain sequence in Yoga Namaskar where how you need to increase that. So if you want that sequence, let me just have a look at it. I can tell you. So the sequence is you can do actually you can do 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, 18, 21, 33 cycles of Yoga Namaskar, and then go on increasing by one. So if you wish, I can type it out as well. So 3, 5, 7, just one second. 7, 9, 11, 18, 21, 33, and then increase by one. Okay. Okay. So I hope this is clear. So you can slowly see, maybe start with 11 right now, if that is possible for you. Stabilize this, do it for a week or so till it gets stabilized, then go to the next number, stabilize that, then move on to the next number. So like this, you go on increasing it till you're able to reach. Currently, I am doing Surya Shakti, so I've been doing that consistently 108 cycles. So it's been almost like a month now since I've been practicing. So I had shared about this earlier, how I had scaled it up, and now that I'm consistently doing it. So if you want, you can even refer to that. But that's something you can learn from a Hatha Yoga teacher if you haven't already. But Yoga Namaskar you can learn online as well. It's available freely on the Sadhguru app. So that if you wish, you can learn and you can start increasing the count. It will be very, very beneficial if you can increase the count. You will see that your energy levels will go up significantly. But just because you want to increase the count, don't compromise on the precision. Do it exactly the way it should be done. So make sure that you do the all the steps correctly. So whatever it is, just go through that and ensure that first precision is important. So do that, And once you get comfortable, only then you slowly start increasing the count. Okay. Someone's asking if I still do software development. No, I've moved away from the software field many years back in 2009 itself, when I had quit my job. After that, I'm not into any software development. I'm only into inner engineering and related. So I don't have any plans as yet to do anything related to software. But if yes, for our work related stuff like for Yogire, whether it's websites and other stuff, definitely it requires software. So I've been looking at that, but I myself am not doing the coding part. Okay, I don't mind doing that, but right now I wish to concentrate on the other aspects which I can do well, like taking classes, etc. So I've not been able to spend time in software development. Okay. Okay. Can we have regular honey, pepper, lemon water concoction on Ekadashi fasting as well, since it is a practice given during Mahashivaratri Sadhana? Yes, you can have that. Shouldn't be an issue if you wish to continue that. Anyway, these things can be consumed even on Ekadashi fasting. If you wish, you can skip the groundnuts part if that is mentioned. Otherwise, these things can be taken as per the specifications for the sadhana. You can continue taking that. So it will be good if you make use of this period up to Mahashivaratri to intensify your sadhana. So there are many supports which are available, and there are different types of sadhana which is available, like this Mahashivaratri Sadhana or the Shivanga Sadhana. So you can take up whatever is possible for you. And now I think they started one more new sadhana called as Rudraksh Sadhana. So Sadhguru has designed these sadhanas so that one can make use of this period up to Mahashivaratri, which is very conducive to prepare oneself. So this is a very opportune time. If you can work on your system, if you can do these particular sadhana, take it up whichever you can, and see if you can do it consistently. You will see that it will help prepare your system to make best use of Mahashivratri, which is a night of great possibilities for a spiritual seeker. So try to take it up, whatever is possible for you, either the Mahashivaratri sadhana or the Rudrak sadhana. So you see whatever is comfortable for you. Currently, I am doing the Shivanga sadhana and the Linga Bhairavi sadhana as well. So I am doing these two, and I think the Linga Bhairavi sadhana will culminate in a few days, and then I'll continue with the Shivanga sadhana. Okay. Someone's asking about how do we get scholarship for Hatha Yoga teachers training, and did I get any scholarship? No, I didn't get any scholarship. Okay. So if you wish to get any scholarship, you can check with the Hatha Yoga school. You can go to the Hatha Yoga school website, and they may be having a contact number and email ID. So I think the opportunity to get any scholarship is quite rare. So, but anyway, you can check with them whether there's a possibility, or else you can just work towards it. They may also have an opportunity for you to volunteer for a few years and then get scholarship. So you can check with them if they have such an option currently, because earlier they had this option of volunteering with the school for about 3 years, so that then you can do the training program. So you can check whether it is still applicable, or is there anything else which they are doing right now. So if that is the case for you. Okay. While doing So someone's asking, can I have groundnut and banana recipe mentioned by Sadhguru in Ekadashi? So as we already looked at, ideally you should uh, be fasting on Ekadashi and just managing with water. But if it's difficult for you, you can have fruits or something which is lighter on the stomach. You can even have like ash-gourd juice or Sanjeevni Kanji or porridge. So if that's needed for you, you can have that. So if you wish to, if you're not able to sustain, you can have that groundnut and banana recipe, whatever you're referring to. It's possible you can do that. I have been managing with just water. So since morning, I have not taken anything except water. And once I break my fast, only then I'll have anything else. So I've been able to do it comfortably. So it requires a lot of sadhana as well, because if your system is well prepared, and also if you have been eating the right kinds of foods, so it is very important that you prepare your system sufficiently so that you can fast effortlessly. It's not something which is you're trying to prove a point to someone by just doing it for a particular day and achieving a feat. It's not like that. So you need to sufficiently prepare your system by doing yogic practices, by eating the right kinds of foods, by maintaining sufficient gap between meals. So I hope you may have gone through the Agni series videos. So if you see our YouTube channel, you will find this Agni series playlist. So you can go through those videos because it will have many aspects about food covered. So try to see if you can implement as much as possible. Then you will see that your system is sufficiently prepared to fast effortlessly. And if you wish to go through it in a structured manner where you will be able to go through it step by step, ask queries, learn cooking as well, and as well as ask questions about anything related to food, then you can also consider attending the Aahar program, which we are doing it online. So we have an upcoming program as well from Feb 26th to 28th. It's a 3-day program, so you can even look it up. It's there on our Yogire website, yogire.com. Okay. Regarding intermittent fasting, can it be continued for lifelong? Is it healthy without any compulsions? So I don't know what you're referring to as intermittent fasting. See, in modern terminology, they are referring to having sufficient gap between meals as intermittent fasting. So in the yogic system, we always mention to maintain at least 8 to 10 hours gap between two meals. So in the ashram, how the Isha in the Isha ashram, how the schedule is that people have the first meal in the morning at around 10 a.m. or 10:45 a.m., which is like brunch timing. So they don't have breakfast and lunch separately, they have it combined. It's called brunch. And then they have dinner at 7 p.m. or 7:45 in the evening. So you will see that there's about 9 hours gap between two meals. So that's ideal. So if you just have that, and then between your dinner and again brunch, again there is sufficient gap. So if you do like this, you will see that the system gets enough rest, and the system is not overloaded with food. So it's very important that if you are over 30 years of age, you switch to a two meal system. But if you are less than 30 years of age, you can have three meals. But once you cross 30 years, it's best you stick to two meals. So this is what I think in modern terminology they are calling as intermittent fasting, where they say that you should have at least sufficient gap between two meals. So it's if it's the same thing, then yes, it can be continued for life. There is no harm. There's no harm in that. And in the Isha center, they have been doing this, and the residents have been following this. And Sadhguru has also recommended this. In fact, he was mentioning that he just has one meal, not even two meals. He just has one meal in the evening around 4:35. So you have to see what works for your system. You need not do something forcibly. You have to prepare your system sufficiently. So especially if you are switching from three meals to two meals, it may take some time for the system to get used to it. So try to prepare your system as we looked at, and then slowly, gradually move towards that. Okay. Can I teach Jalaneti online? There is no possibility of teaching Jalaneti online at Isha. So Sadhguru has mentioned to teach it only in person. So there are many things, subtle aspects about Jalaneti which cannot be taught online. So currently it is not being offered online. It's best you find a teacher near your area. There's a site called as Hatha Yoga Teacher Finder, Isha Hatha Yoga Teacher Finder. If you Google that, you will find a list of all teachers across the world, Isha teachers. So you find one which is nearby, and someone who's nearby to you, and you can learn from them. You can ask them if they can teach you Jalaneti. And if this practice is done properly, It can definitely help you get relief from allergies, sinuses, migraines, and many nasal related issues. If people are having trouble breathing and the nasal passages are blocked, you'll see it'll affect your system in a big way, because if your breathing is not happening properly, then everything gets affected and your system suffers over a long period of time. So it's very important to have your nasal passages clear and the breathing should be free. So Jalaneti can be a very effective step, preparatory step to do this. Apart from this, if you also eat the right kinds of foods, avoid eating a lot of dairy products, and also if you're doing hatha yogic practices like surya kriya or surya shakti or yoga asanas, and also kriyas like shakti chalana kriya etc., are very beneficial for helping with allergies. So if you're doing these yogic practices as well, these can also assist you in getting rid of these ailments. So try to learn it from a teacher nearby to you. Okay, someone's asking what time do we need to eat food today? So you can have your dinner at your regular time. So suppose you have been eating dinner at 8 p.m. every day. So you can have it at 8 p.m. today as well. So that you have 24 hours gap, 24 hours fast. So yesterday you had dinner at let's say 8 p.m. and today after 24 hours you can have your dinner. So it's like 24 hours fast ideally with just water. Okay. Someone's asking, is it okay to have only uncooked food for whole lifetime? So it depends on your system. You have to see what works for you. What I've seen for most people is if they just are on a raw food diet, very few people are able to sustain with just that, because after some time, you start developing cravings and then you tend to eat more than what you would normally do. So it's like, you went for a naturopathy program where they just gave you raw food for, let's say, 2 weeks or 3 weeks, and you felt really good about it, and your body felt very healthy, and your system felt great. And then you came out of the program, and then after that, you felt like making up for those 2, 3 weeks. So that shouldn't happen. So whatever you do, it should be sustainable. So if you feel that you can sustain with only uncooked food, then there's no harm. You can do that as long as you are having sufficient variety of food which is uncooked, like having enough sprouts, groundnuts, and let's say you can make a porridge which has mixture of different kinds of grains. At least that can help you to have a balanced diet. So as long as you're having a balanced diet, it should be fine, but it should be sustainable for you. So for most people it's not sustainable, so we suggest to have at least 50% raw and 50% cooked food, so that you it becomes more sustainable for you. But if you wish to increase the raw percentage, then it's up to you. You can see what works for your system and do that accordingly. Okay, someone's mentioning that I feel good after practices, but on certain days I don't feel like doing practices. So what should be done? Well, this is something you need to fix within yourself, because if you listen to your mind, then it may say different things on different days. On a certain day, you'll feel like doing the practices. On another day, you'll feel like sleeping late. And it can vary like this, because based on external situations, your mind may say many things. So you have to just fix it. The commitment is very important when you take up any practice like yoga. It should be done with a certain commitment. Only then it makes a certain difference. So it's like asking, you know, can regarding food, you are not choosing whether you want to have food or not, right? Every day you are having food. So that's something which you are anyway doing because it's needed for the system. So you know that it is necessary for your survival. But right now, you don't feel that kind of importance towards the yogic practices, because anyway you are surviving. So you should move away from that and see that this is something which is assisting your well-being. If you understand the importance of that, then this will also become a part of your life easily, and you need not struggle with it, because the mind may say many things, but you just see that whatever I have taken up as a commitment, just trying to fulfill that. It will take some time for you to establish this. Once it gets established, then you need not think on a daily basis, should I do it or should I not do it? So any practice when you take up, it's very important you do it with a certain commitment for a certain period of time. Like whenever we do teach these programs, we suggest to at least do it for 40 days without a single day's break. Let's say twice a day for 40 days, and then at least once a day for the next 6 months without a single day's break, so that your system gets adjusted to it. After that, you will see that these struggles won't arise. These struggles may arise only because you are doing stop and starting and stopping practices whenever you're feeling like you want to do, and whenever you don't feel like you stop. So that should stop. You should break this cycle by just fixing it, that come what may, I will do this for this particular time. By then you would have understood the benefits of it and your system would have gotten used to it, and then you won't have any struggles in doing it. If it's difficult for you, you should just fix it, that without practice no food. So you'll know that anyway you'll have to do the practice. So initially just this a little bit of a little bit of hatha is necessary. As we say hatha yoga, it's a little bit of adamance is necessary for you to tide over these compulsions of the system. Once that is effortless for you, then after that, you know you can always see that it becomes a part of your life. Okay. Someone's asking about mosquitoes, how to take care of that when you're doing the practices outdoors. So you have to see what works for you. There are if you're doing the practice outdoors, if that's uncomfortable for you, it is better to do it indoors where these issues won't be there, because a lot of people they get distracted when they do the practice outdoors. It could be mosquitoes, or it could be watching the scenery outside, or just watching people pass by. So if when you're doing the yogic practices, it's important that you're focused when you're doing the practices. So whatever assists you with that, you should do that. So if you find that you're getting distracted and it's difficult for you to do the practices outside, then it's better you do it indoors and do it in a committed way. And if you want to do it outside, and you have to see whatever is working for you. If it's necessary, you can use some herbal repellents or something similar which can help you and assist you. So that's something you have to see based on your situation. And the important thing is just to keep your focus when doing the practice and not getting distracted. Okay. Okay, Shambhavi related questions, won't be able to look at it here. You can check with an inner engineering teacher. Okay. Okay. Someone's asking about sadhana pada. So that's again something which you can check with the Isha inquiry team. So they have an inquiry number called 8300083111, and also they have a website, sadhana pada website. So you can probably go through that and find out more details about it. I'm not aware about the latest details, criteria, etc. So you can check with the team over there. It's good if you want to spend some time in the ashram and work on your inner well-being, then program like Sadhana Pada can be a great stepping stone for you, because you get to spend about 9 months staying in the Isha Yoga Center. Your practices can get stabilized. Your food, obviously, you will be eating healthy and holistic meals. So it's very important that these things are brought to a balance early on in your life, and not when you feel that you have done whatever you had to do outside and now you should focus on your well-being. So we see a lot of people coming for these programs who are youngsters, who are just in their 20s, or they just started working and they want to focus on their inner well-being now. So that's great actually, because it's best you work on yourself early on, and that would be helpful so that you can live a life of meaning and fulfillment. So sadhana pada could be a very fruitful step in that direction. So you can find out from the team about more details, how it can be in terms of criteria, etc. Someone's asking, is it possible for to be in Isha for some years to intensify our sadhana? Yes, you can apply for long-term volunteering. So they have an option where someone can stay in the ashram and volunteer for a long period of time. So you can get in touch with the team and see if you wish to volunteer for a long period of time. Maybe you can start with 6 months, and then if you wish to go on extending, you can do that. So it is definitely possible. And currently, because of the COVID restrictions, I think they are taking people only who are interested to volunteer for 2 months or above. Before this, it was possible to volunteer for just, let's say, a few days or a week and then come back. But now I think they're taking people only who wish to stay there for minimum of 2 months. So that's a good time to spend if you want to stabilize yourself, if you want to gain some clarity, if you want to work on yourself. It's good to spend some time away and be in the ashram. That can definitely help you. So try to get in touch with them and find out about the various options which are available. Okay, someone's asking how to decide which millets are good for different seasons. So this is something you can see. Millets are something which can be consumed throughout the year. For example, something like ragi can be consumed throughout the year. There shouldn't be an issue. So so you can just see, for example, having these millets regularly, there shouldn't be much of a problem having them year around. If there is something which is not suiting your system in a particular climate, then just listen to your body. For example, right now, let's say it's summer, and if you're eating something and it's building up a lot of heat in your system, then you can avoid that. So just listen to your own body rather than any particular charts or guidelines. Just see what is best for your system. So when it comes to food, you should just listen to the system, because body knows food better than anybody else. So with respect to millets, it is very good that you can include different types of millets in your diet. If you come to the Isha Yoga Center, you will see that, for example, in a week, they may have served 5, 6 different types of millets. One day you may find ragis, another day you may find bajra, or another day you may find some other millet. So like this, they have different types of millets. I think there are more than 6 types of millets available based on the region where you are, and they keep serving different kinds of dishes prepared from these millets. This is considered to be much healthier than polished grains like rice. For most of us, who are used to eating white rice, most of the nutrients are lost. So millets are something which are nutritionally much better compared to wheat and rice, and they are something which can definitely assist you if you wish to have a balanced diet. If this is difficult for you to have different types of millets, you can include Sanjeevani or multigrain health mix in your diet. That is a mixture of many different types of millets and grains, and you can just make a porridge out of it. So if you have that along with your meal, after you finish your raw food, you can have the porridges and then you move on to the cooked food. So if you do that, you will see that it can take care in terms of having a balanced meal. So I've been having either ragi kanji or sanjeevani porridge almost on a daily basis. How much protein to consume per day? So there is no need to fix any amount of protein, etc. Just see if you can eat foods which are rich with protein. For example, groundnuts. If on a daily basis you include a handful of groundnuts to consume, it can be very, very helpful. If you also include sprouts, especially green gram sprouts, if you take some green gram, sprout it overnight, and then consume it in the morning, you will see that it can be very, very beneficial. It can help increase your protein content. So the body doesn't need too much protein. So avoid taking protein powder or external supplements. Just eating these natural foods in a raw condition can be helpful to meet your protein requirement, like sufficient amount of groundnuts, sprouts, for other grains like millets, and for example, ragi. Horse gram is a very rich source of protein. It has a very high amount of protein content. So these substances, if you can have on a regular basis, it can take care of your protein requirement. Even drumstick. So you can go through the Agni videos. We have described about some of these foods in more detail actually. Okay. I'm 21. I have been eating 2 meals per day for more than a year. Is it okay? Yes, that's fine. If your system is able to manage well, then it should be fine. It's not necessary for you to have more. If you have been struggling in terms of energy levels and you feel that you are starving yourself, then you should move on to 3 meals. But if you're feeling sufficiently energized and it looks that you are able to manage all your activities, then it should be fine. There are a lot of people in the ashram who are less than 30 years who are just having 2 meals, which is the regular ashram schedule. Okay. Someone's asking, is it okay to eat roasted groundnuts instead of soaked groundnuts? See, it's always best to eat soaked groundnuts. Anything when you roast or fry, it loses some of its nutrition content. So it is always better to have something which is raw to get maximum nutrients out of it. So if you have soaked groundnuts, that is the best way to have it. So soaking it overnight and then having it in the morning, it helps remove some pitta content which can cause rashes. So just soak it overnight and then in the morning just wash it and then have it. Just a handful of groundnuts. It can be very beneficial. Sadhguru was mentioning that groundnuts are like a complete meal by itself. It can there are yogis who just go on a groundnut diet. If you just have groundnuts, that can take care of your food requirement completely in terms of whatever you are looking at, proteins, calories, or carbohydrates, etc. Everything it can take care of it. So groundnuts are a complete diet by itself. So see if you can have it on a daily basis. At Isha, if you come to the center every day in the morning for brunch, first thing they'll serve you is the groundnuts, the soaked groundnuts. Okay. It won't increase cholesterol. You don't have to worry about that. Just a handful of groundnuts. It should be very healthy actually. If someone is having just one meal a day, then is it necessary to fast on Ekadashis? So, if you are already having one meal a day and not having anything else, then it's like you're doing Ekadashi fasting almost every day. So, if that is the case, then it should be fine. But on Ekadashi, if you wish to, you can maybe break your fast or you have your meal after sunset. So otherwise it should be fine, because the idea of doing Ekadashi fast is just to recognize when your system doesn't require food. So the idea of doing this fasting was just to recognize those days. Sadhguru was mentioning that if you see your system carefully, you will see that once at least there are 3 days in one mandala, which is 40 to 48 days. There are at least 3 days when your body doesn't require the need or it doesn't feel the need to eat. So if you go without food on those days, it is very healthy for the system. And forcibly eating on those days when you don't feel like eating, when the body is not asking for food, may not be a very good thing to do. So that's why they fasted on those days when the body was not requiring any food. But since people didn't have this awareness, for most people, this awareness is missing. So they fixed Ekadashi, which comes every 14 days. So if you do Ekadashi, that means at least in a mandala, which is 40 to 48 days, you'll get 3 Ekadashis. So it can take care of that. So that was the idea of doing Ekadashi fasting, so that you give your system sufficient rest and eat only when your system is requiring it. So if you are aware of your system and you see whenever it's not requiring food, then it should be fine. If you can manage, it's then it's like you are as good as fasting on a daily basis. So if you are able to manage, it should be fine. Okay. Any practices can resolve social anxiety? Hmm. I don't know what's social anxiety. If it's just anxious about meeting people or whatever else, so whatever type of anxiety you're facing, try to see if you can do the upayoga practices and meditations which are provided in the Sadhguru app. So for example, you can do nada yoga and nadi shuddhi. So these two practices are very helpful to bring the system to a balance. It's freely available on the Sadhguru app. You can do these two practices. Try to do it at least twice a day, minimum 10 minutes each of these practices. Try to do it. It can definitely help you. And you can even do some chit-shakti meditation or Isha Kriya meditation, which will help you distance yourself from your mind. So before you go to sleep, at least try to do Isha Kriya and go to sleep. And that will also help you distance yourself from your mind, because any anxiety is kind of being having this attachment with the mind and not being able to distance it, maintain a distance from it. So try to see if you can do these practices. Okay. What is the best hot beverage to replace tea in the morning? Okay. You can have lukewarm water with honey. That is the best beverage in the morning. On an empty stomach condition, just take some lukewarm water, add few teaspoons of honey to it, and have it. It's a good beverage. If you wish, you can add some lime to it as well. So that could be a honey lime thing, could be a good beverage in the morning. If you're doing your practices, then you can have it after your practices. That's something which you can take in the morning. So it's best to avoid stimulants like tea, coffee, because it can affect your energy in the long run. You will see that people who are uh, addicted to stimulants, it'll become difficult for them to fast. And the moment you go without food, it feels like, there's so much of compulsion in your system. You just cannot live without it. But if you have kept your system free from all nervous stimulants like tea, coffee, alcohol, etc., so you will see that very effortlessly you are able to manage your energy levels, and you can go without these things effortlessly. So it's important to look at alternatives. Like you have this and this mixture which I spoke about. You can even have sukku coffee, which is available in Isha. It's a mixture of different types of herbs. So you can even use that. So try to see whatever works for you, and you can do accordingly. And you can also try ash-gourd juice. If you have a glass of ash-gourd juice in the morning before you start your breakfast, it'll increase your energy levels. It will help increase your energy levels. And that's the reason why you have tea, isn't it? Because you want to boost in terms of your energy levels. So if you have that instead, it can help you boost your energy levels, and it also won't have side effects like tea or coffee, because with tea or coffee you get an instant boost, but then after some time you feel it pulls you down. But that won't happen with ashgourd juice. Okay. Can I lie down and do chit-shakti? No, do it as per the instructions. You can rest your back and sit with your legs uncrossed and do the chit-shakti. Okay. What are short-term programs? I'm not getting what is your reference here. Are you referring to short-term programs from Yogire? Okay. If you are looking at programs from Yogire which are for few days, then we have few programs which are for about 3 days, and those are short-term programs. For example, you have the Aahar program which we are doing. So that is a 3-day online program. So you can do that. You can also learn Hatha Yoga, but most of the Hatha Yoga practices are available only offline. You can learn it from an instructor. So you have Surya Kriya, which is for about 3-4 days, or you can learn Angamartana, which may take a little longer. You can even learn Yogasanas, which may take up to 5 days to learn. You can learn Bhuta Shuddhi in just one session. So there are many programs which are available which you can make use of. Okay. Okay. Can ashgourd juice be consumed in the evening as well? Yes, it can be consumed in the evening. There's no problem. Just that with ashgourd juice, it cools your system. So if you're having issues like you are having cold, if you tend to catch cold faster, then you can, especially in winters, you can add a little bit of honey to it, or you can add some pepper so that it reduces the cooling property to some extent. So that's only if you're susceptible to catching colds and if it's winter time. Otherwise, it can be safely consumed. Okay. When I chew the neem leaves, I'm getting mouth ulcer. So if you are not able to chew the neem leaves, like Sadhguru was suggesting, that the best way to have neem is take these neem leaves, let's say about 5, 6 neem leaves, and keep it in your mouth region while doing the sadhana for a couple of hours. So he was mentioning this during a darshan in the lockdown, where he was saying that you should try to keep it in the mouth region as much as possible because it can help you get a lot of benefits. So if that is difficult for you, if you are getting ulcers, etc., then you can just have the neem powder along with turmeric powder before you start your sadhana, or else you can um, have these neem and turmeric capsules which are readily available in Isha Life. You can even have that, or in the night you can make these neem and turmeric balls, one marble sized ball each, and have it in the morning along with lukewarm water. So that's also something it's possible. Okay. What to do if you have a running nose? Even if so we looked at it that if you have nasal related issues, if you have running nose, if you tend to catch cold easily, or if you have sinuses, so if you have these kind of kapha related issues where you are having these, if you see this happening on a regular basis for you, it's just not just one time but it's happening like a chronic issue for you, then you should try to learn Jalaneti, take up some Hatha yoga practices, do that consistently, and do Jalaneti as a preparatory step. It can help you. And also, if you avoid dairy products, because if you see, if you have a lot of dairy products, like if you have milk, etc., you will see that it will develop more mucus. So, especially if you have running nose, etc., the more dairy products you eat, you will see it will kind of the problem may intensify for you and you may have more issues. So you can try avoiding dairy products if you're especially having problems related to mucus buildup in the system. And anyway, in the yogic path, we suggest to minimize dairy products, especially milk and curd, etc. We suggest to avoid and instead have buttermilk and ghee. These are much better alternatives than having milk and curd, etc. So just having buttermilk, especially during summers, it can cool your system. And having ghee on a regular basis before you start your meals, just having a few teaspoons of ghee on an empty stomach condition, it can be very beneficial. It can also manifest as a certain glow in the skin and clean your system. So that's something which you can try to do. Okay. Can I drink amla and aloe vera with neem and turmeric? So if you are having neem and turmeric, generally we suggest to have neem and turmeric before starting your yogic sadhana. So if you're doing that, then just have neem and turmeric along with lukewarm water. If you wish, you can add a little bit of honey to it, nothing else. But if you wish to take it after sadhana, then you can have it with anything else which you are mentioning about. That should be okay, I guess. You can just have neem and turmeric, and then you can have amla or aloe vera juice, etc. You can have that. That should be fine. But actually, for neem and turmeric, what Sadhguru was saying is that especially when you have neem and turmeric, after that you shouldn't eat or drink anything for about 1.5 hours. So that's why we suggest to take it before doing your sadhana, so that by the time you finish your sadhana, then you can go on with your normal breakfast or whatever you are having. So you can have that. So it's always best that you have sufficient gap. It shouldn't be like just before you start your breakfast, you have neem and turmeric. You should have sufficient gap, at least 1.5 hours gap. It would be ideal before you have food or anything to eat and drink. So just neem and turmeric along with lukewarm water and honey, if you wish to, a little bit of honey, it should be okay. That should be fine. Okay. Are there any tips to increase height? I'm not aware of any. Otherwise, I would have increased mine. So I'm not aware of any yogic tips to increase height. If you are at still if you are at an age where you can still increase your height, then you should look at stretching exercises, which can help, or probably even these asanas it might. But if you have crossed that age where you can increase, then after that you may do all kinds of yoga, but it may not help. So I'm not aware of anything which Sadhguru has specified for increasing height. Okay. Okay. Chit-Shakti or Kalpavriksha. So I think Kalpavriksha is like which meditation to do, Chit-Shakti or Kalpavriksha. I think Kalpavriksha has been modified to, as a Chit-Shakti meditation itself. So it's very similar. So you can do the Chit-Shakti meditations which are available on the app. You'll find that the Kalpavriksha meditation, which was available earlier, and the Chit-Shakti meditation, I think for success, they're quite similar. So you can do the Chit-Shakti, which is there on the app. It should be fine. Can I bathe in hot water? So generally in the yogic path, we suggest to take a cold water shower before you begin your practices. So that is the ideal way to begin your practices, to take a cold water shower. Because if you take a cold water shower, you will see that it will assist the system. You will see that when you're doing the asanas, especially Hatha Yoga, when you do, you will see that your body becomes a little more flexible, and it just opens up the system. So if you take the water, which is a little below, a few degrees below the room temperature, and then take a bath with that, it will be helpful for the system, especially when you're doing yogic sadhana. We always suggest to have a cold water shower. So it's best you take this and you pour it, starting with your head. So you first pour it on your head, and then the water should flow over the whole body. It should not be the other way around. So Sadhguru was suggesting that is the best way to take a bath. For example, if you just take a bucket and just pour it on top of your head, like you simulate a river water, but dip. So that's how you should be taking a bath. So if right now you are staying in a place where the climate is extremely cold, it's freezing, and you just can't think about taking a cold water shower, then you see whatever is necessary for you. Maybe you can take a lukewarm water shower, etc. So you see what works for you. So I'm staying in Bangalore, and I'm able to take a cold water shower 365 days a year. So it's not an issue for me. You can manage here. But people who are in other places, especially in up north in India, or maybe other countries outside, if it is extremely cold, it's snowing, it's freezing, it may be a problem for you. So you have to see what works for you, and you can do accordingly. Okay. Okay. What can we any yogic perspective on reducing constipation? So yes, constipation is something which can definitely bring down your overall health, and you will see that if you are constipated, you don't feel like doing anything with involvement. Also, it not just affects your physical body but affects your mental state as well. So in the yogic path, we place a lot of importance on keeping your system clean, especially in terms of keeping your colon clean. There's a lot of importance placed on that, because you cannot have an unclean colon and think of meditating. That simply won't be possible, because how how clean your colon is has a direct impact on your mind. So it is very important that you take care of issues like constipation, etc., so that you will see it will open up the system in a very different way. So if you have this issue of constipation, you should look at changing your diet and lifestyle, because these are the two main factors which can which can be causing this. Because you may be having a lot of cooked food, not enough raw food. You may be having a lot of processed stuff, and secondly, you may also not be having a healthy lifestyle. You may be eating late, sleeping late, and not having sufficient gap between your meals and before you go to bed. And you may be having frequent meals instead of having sufficient gap. So your lifestyle also may not be proper, and your diet as well may need some correction. So it's very important that you fix your lifestyle and your diet accordingly so that you can get aligned. So once you fix your diet and lifestyle, and also you include some yogic practices on a daily basis, like some hatha yoga and kriyas, if all these factors are worked on, then you will see that problems like constipation can simply disappear. So it's very important that you spend enough time to just set these factors right. So you can refer to the Agni series videos. There's a lot of material available there about food. You can also refer to the blogs, etc. On Isha channels. There are many things which you can make use of. But if implementation is a challenge for you, which I've seen for most people, then you may need a structured program to go through it in a step by step manner and get inspired. So I've seen this with a lot of people, that they know all the information, but they're not able to implement it in their life. They may know what is healthy, what is unhealthy, what they should do, how a yogic lifestyle should be, how a yogi should be, how they should be with people, how they should be with themselves. They may be aware of all these things. They may have watched hundreds of videos from Sadhguru's channel, and they may be knowing all this information, but it has not become a reality for them. It is not something which they are able to implement in their life. So it is very important that you focus on implementation, because you can watch thousands of Sadhguru's videos and still not move an inch. It is very much possible that you may not be implementing anything. You may be just watching it for some entertainment. So it's like, Sadhguru was mentioning this, that someone was asking that, I watched all your videos. Now, do I really need to do any program? So he was saying it's like, uh, you went through an elaborate menu, but you didn't order. So it's like that. You went through the whole menu, you saw all the different items, but you didn't order and you didn't eat. So what is the point? So that shouldn't happen. So it's very important that you see that, are you really able to implement things in your life? And if implementation is an issue for you, sometimes external help may be needed. You may need to go through a structured step by step program where things don't overwhelm you, because sometimes you get overwhelmed with so much of information around you, and you start thinking, should I do this, should I do that, or which one should I do first, which is better, what is more beneficial for me. And you kind of tear your hair in frustration and nothing happens. You don't even implement anything. So many of you would be in that category, because information is nowadays freely available online. There's nothing which is not available. But the problem is not about lack of information, but about sufficient inspiration and discipline to implement something in your life. So if that is an issue for you, you should try to go through a structured program. So for example, if you do the inner engineering program, you may have watched many of these videos before, or you may have gone through some of that content even earlier. But now when it is delivered in a step by step fashion, suddenly you see implementation becomes much easier without you getting overwhelmed. It's like a step by step process. Same thing we have experienced when people have come to our programs like the Aahar program. Now, all the information which we are speaking about in the Aahar program is anyway available online. If you look at our Agni videos, or if you look at Isha blogs, etc., all this information is freely available. It's not that this information is not available and we are speaking something completely new in the program. But when they come and attend a program and they go through it in a step by step manner, in a structured way, it also helps to break certain barriers which they had created within themselves. Maybe they just thought that this is not possible for me because of one simple reason, which may not be true, but just they thought about it and they said it's not possible for me. So when they come for a structured program like this, it helps to clear those bottlenecks, whichever were preventing them from implementation. So you'll be surprised to see that how many small things people hold back and think that it's not possible for them. Just one particular day, they might have tried eating 2 meals, and on that day, they may have got some gastric issue, and they thought, okay, it's not possible for me, and they would have left it. If only they had, had this particular thing of taking some guidance, they would know that it may take some time for the system to get used to it, or what kind of foods they are eating, and in a few days' time, they could have corrected it. So sometimes guidance is necessary, and if you feel that you need that guidance to implement things in your life, then do take it, because whatever is needed for your well-being, it's important you do that. As long as it was working for you, as long as things are working for you, and you're making it happen in your life, it's good. Whichever way you do it, it's up to you. Whether you watch videos or blogs, or you go through programs, or you just intuitively do it on your own, it's up to you what works for you. But whatever works, at least do that. Okay. Okay. How much should be the minimum water intake? So again, with water, we don't specify in terms of how much water to drink. What Sadhguru has mentioned is you should just drink water according to your thirst. Whenever you feel thirsty, you should have water. So just listen to your system and see. Whenever the body is asking for water, you should have that much water and have a little more, maybe 10 to 15% extra, so that you are sure that you're not having less. So you shouldn't be sipping water all the time like a ritual. Like I should finish 5 bottles today, or I should have 5 liters, I should have 6 liters. So just go according to the needs of the system. Whenever your body feels the need for water, just have that, instead of going by dictates and what you should be, how much you should be having water. What will be the timing of the Aahar program? So it will be in the evening from 4:30 to 7 p.m. Indian Standard Time for 3 days. You can have a look at our website for more details, yogire.com. If you go there, you'll find more details. How are you reversing in age? You look different from your videos. Okay. I'm not doing anything else except my yogic practices. So maybe that is working. So you can try it out if you haven't been doing that. Okay, so maybe that helps. Yes, people who are doing yogic practices, you will see that they may look much younger than what their actual age is. So it can help you add a few years to your life and make you look much younger. So try to see if you can do this on a regular basis, not something which you want, which you do whenever you wish to. On a daily basis, this should become a part of your life. Then you will see it can definitely help you. Can we do Shambhavi during morning presence time? Should we chant Brahmanand? Yes, you can do Shambhavi during morning presence time. Usually we keep the presence time in the evening from 6:20 onwards. So that's generally what's followed at the ashram, at the Isha center. They usually do it in the evening from 6:20 onwards. So yeah, you can use the morning time for doing your Shambhavi. Any time which you're using, for example, the Sandhya Kalas, it will be very beneficial to do the practices during that time. So Sandhya is like 20 minutes before and after sunrise, 20 minutes before and after sunset. So these times are very conducive for the system to bring it to a balance. You can very easily bring it to a balance if you do the yogic practices. So yeah, you can do your Shambhavi in the morning. It should be fine. Okay. How many hours of sadhana do you do? Okay. So you're more concerned about my sadhana. So you should be looking at your sadhana, how much you are doing, and try to increase that, because how much ever sadhana I do, that may not help you. Okay. But if you wish to know that, spend about 3.5 hours to 4 hours with my yogic practices on a daily basis. Sometimes when I go into silence, I tend to spend longer times, because then I have the whole day for sadhana. So there, especially just I was sharing in my video that last month I was in the Isha Yoga Center and I spent about 7 days in silence. So there I was doing sadhana for almost 8-10 hours a day, because we're doing in the morning and then again in the evening. But generally on normal day, about 3 to 4 hours, so that's how much time. Okay, so we'll close now. So thank you so much for joining, all of you. So I hope today's session was useful for you to get started. So most importantly, as I said, try to see if you can implement things rather than just reading stuff and not being able to implement. See if you can focus on implementation. There's a lot of material available for you to implement. So try to see if you can implement those things, and slowly you will see change happens. Someone's been asking about dairy products, but not to consume, but to consume ghee and buttermilk. So what Sadhguru was mentioning is, for ghee and buttermilk, the composition changes. It has a different composition compared to milk. So when you make buttermilk, the composition of it changes and it becomes easier for the system to digest. Same with ghee as well, it doesn't require any much digestion. So he was saying these two products can be had, so you can try to include that. So I'll close here. So see if you can implement whatever aspects which we looked at today. And for those of you who need that assistance, who need the support and looking for a structured approach in terms of food and yogic diet, as I mentioned, we have an upcoming Aahar program this month from Feb 26th to 28th. We'll be looking at all aspects of yogic diet. We'll be also looking at how to make yogic dishes. So we'll be showing you through videos how to prepare a yogic meal. And we'll be also sharing with you over 250 recipes which you can try out. So there's enough stuff which you can experiment with. And apart from that, if you have any questions, we can help you clear those obstacles or challenges which you're facing. So if you wish to be a part of that program, you can have a look at our website. And otherwise as well, you can look at Agni series videos. It will be very useful for you, those who are looking for information on food. Almost all aspects about yogic diet have been covered, and it's something which is made in a form which is easy to implement. So you can have a look at our YouTube channel and go to the Agni series playlist and have a look at it. If you wish to stay updated with us, if you wish to get updates from Yogire on a daily basis, we'll be sharing information with you like blogs, articles, sharings, etc., Ekadashi reminders. Then you can be a part of our broadcast groups. So we have a broadcast group on WhatsApp and we also have on Telegram. So whichever is comfortable for you, you can join that. You can join our broadcast group on WhatsApp by going to the link, by going to our website, yogire.com. You'll find a link to join the WhatsApp group. And if you wish to join a Telegram group as well, you can even find us on Telegram. If you just search for Yogire, you'll find us on Telegram as well. So that could be a best way for you to stay updated and stay inspired with relevant yogic content on a daily basis. So please see how you can make use of that. Okay. And have a good Ekadashi meal today. So in about an hour's time, I think it should be good for you to break your dinner, and hope you had a good productive day and you were able to do that effortlessly. It would be nice if you can share your experience about today's Ekadashi fast. So please share it with us on one of the social media channels or on our WhatsApp inquiry number. You can send us your experience, how it was for you today. Okay. So I'll close now. Thank you so much for joining and hope you have a good meal and day. Namaskar.